Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, from wherever you are joining. We're just going to wait a few more minutes just to see if anyone else trickles in here. We're super excited for the program today, the Young Leaders in Actions. We're hoping, it'll be a interactive dialogue with information sharing and all sorts of fun. So just give us a few minutes and we'll go ahead and get started. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat, where you're from, um, who you are, go ahead. We would love to see it. My name is Mads. I am one of the co-chairs of the Youth Leaders in the Young Professional Program with the NGO CSW New York organization. Um, and today we are going to be doing a few things. This is our monthly program designed to foster meaningful dialogue between young activists and experienced professionals working in human rights and gender equality. So through our program today, the Youth Leaders in Action program, participants will gain insight into diverse pathways in activism, exploring roles across grassroots organizations and hopefully the United Nations. The program will also center voices of young leaders who I reached out to through the Community Hub. Who want to share their experiences, challenges, and opportunities, and offering valuable perspectives on how to engage, network, and contribute to the gender equality movement. So we're hoping for a super interactive session today. I see a few of us are introducing ourselves in the chat. This is great to see. Okay, I know that we have an interactive activity. If we want to go ahead and get started with that, Emily, I will go ahead and pass it over to you.
Absolutely. Give me 1 second to get that pulled up. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We are so glad to have you here. Let me pull this up. Okay, here we are. So we have a Menti to share with you all today. You should see that on the screen. Please go ahead and scan the code, the QR code there. You could also go to menti.com and type in the code. It's 36760762. And I believe that one of our partners, Asil Ibrahim, is here, and she's going to walk us through the Menti. Asil, if you want to come on.
Hi, how are you, everyone? Um, Please let me know if you can see me.
Yeah, great.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Asil. I am a researcher and I lead an initiative called Right Not Electory, which works on mental health and SRHR education. I was part of the Global Youth Fellows in 2024, and this is how I came to know NGO CSW. And I'm very happy to lead you today to learn more and connect with other young people and hear about how we advance our work in gender equality amid these very hostile times against us. So, should we start or maybe wait for more people to join the Menti?
Yeah, it looks like we've got 10 people in the Menti. Is anyone having troubles connecting to it? I don't see anything in the chat. Oh, one more. Let's give it another minute and see if anyone else is joining. Okay, 30-second countdown. If you have not joined, please join, or we are going to get started in just a moment. Okay, and I think maybe we can put the code into the chat. That way, if anyone comes afterwards, they can go to Menti and join. Let me just stick that in there right now so we can get started. 0762.
Hey, we have 14 there. This is very
Perfect.
nice.
Let's go ahead and get started then. Is everyone
Yes.
able to see? We're all good here? Perfect. So our first question today then is, where in the world are you joining from? So please go ahead. You can drop a pin on the map and let us know where you're joining from today.
I'm joining from Qatar actually today, but I am based in Jordan.
That's right. You're traveling, and I am in New York City with the rest of our NGO CSW team. So it's very warm today. We're finally getting some spring weather. Although not as,
It's very hot in here.
I was gonna say not as warm for you.
Don't forget to press submit at the bottom. I didn't do that and it didn't show up on the on the screen there.
We're all learning.
Technology is a journey.
It really is. I really resent when people are like, "You're young, you know technology." I don't. I don't. Okay, we've got a lot of people in the US, it looks like. A good global showing, though. Some from Africa, some Europe. Looks like Central America. Wonderful. Anyone
Hi
joining from?
everyone.
Oh,
Hi everyone. I'm joining from India. I'm unable to pin my location though. It's
okay.
wonderful to be here on this platform.
Thank you so much for joining us. I was going to say I'm really surprised we have no one from Asia joining us today. Well, thank you for sharing. So I'm going to go ahead and keep us rolling then. We've got a lot to cover today. So, oh, perfect. One more. Great to see where everyone's coming from. So, Asil, I think I'm going to turn it over to you now if you want to go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So I actually really hate the questions when they ask us, describe your work in one sentence or one paragraph, but sometimes it's a really important thing to brainstorm and try, to just think what actually this work means to you in one word in one word or in one sentence. So this is what I wanted to learn today from everybody. What would you describe your activism journey? Volunteering, unlearning, education, equality, supporting, fulfilling. Oh, I want to be at that stage. Tiring, I can understand. What else? Community. Okay, community is popping up. That's the biggest word. So that means everybody agrees. Advocating, faith-based. This is very nice. Reflective, empowering, love. Let's show some love to everybody here. We love you all for all the great work that you are doing. I think actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I would say my activism journey could be described as an a very eventful ride. Sustainability, exhausting connection, local, small wins. This is very true, actually.
I love whoever wrote small wins because I think it's
Yeah,
so hard to, or it's easy to overlook the small wins because you know you're
absolutely.
trying to change the world, but you do it one step at a time. So thank you
Absolutely.
for that.
Okay, women's dignity. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I'm looking at it from a very small screen, so if my face is super big at the camera, I'm sorry, guys. Feminist leadership. This is very nice. Women's rights. Ensure justice for women. Okay, I think we have. Okay, so local, community, and education are like our big three words. So I can say everybody is agreeing on some aspects, which is very nice. I think we can safely move on to the next question. Okay, so rank the ways you show up for gender equality. I would say right now, I feel a lot of people are turning towards storytelling and community organizing. So maybe they would, I'm not inspiring anyone. You guys can rank it as however you want. But I think a lot of people now are showing up and telling their stories and, turning to their communities and organizing together, which is much, much needed. Myth busting. Okay, so we have some answers in the chat that are different, which is amazing. We want all the answers that you guys can get us. And if anybody wants to maybe open the mic and maybe share a sentence or tell us more, why did they choose the way that they organized? We're also happy to hear that.
So hi, I'm Divita. I'm from India. I'm uh, I'm a professor at the National Law University here in India, and I'm very passionate about studying the intersections of gender and law. And for me, the understanding is largely contextual. So whenever I read something or listen to a podcast, uh, my journey for myself involves understanding what works and what doesn't work, or how I can adapt the same to my context. And why I said myth busting is through my little understanding, I've tried to really bust some myths about what gender equality is, and how sometimes our understanding of gender equality is more borrowed than lived in. So that has been my journey so far.
That's very nice. And I saw, Adiba, I saw your hands are up. So if you would like to come and tell us a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. So, hi everyone, I'm Adiba and I'm talking from Herat, Afghanistan. So maybe you would like aware about Afghanistan. So that's the first time that I'm joining here. So as an activist, the most of the time I'm mentoring others, especially I teach students in English and also community organizing. So I'm a leader, or maybe I can say that I'm leading different meetings, and I lead many community, especially through online and remotely for young girls that so like educational place completely banned, and especially about storytelling is somehow it's a base key to keep them motivated and inspire them to just keep going and not abandon from their dreams. So that was yes my side. Thank you.
That's very nice. I also saw one answer on the chat that says that, which is from, I'm sorry for butchering your name. I think it's either Cleo or Leo. I'm sorry, but she says that they say that they are a registered lobbyist for SRH clinics in Nebraska. So formal advocacy campaigns are their main form of showing up. Very amazing. I think we can move to the next question. Okay, what age group are you in? This question is starting to hurt me a lot as I am inching towards my 25 years old.
I don't want to hear it.
I think we should abolish this question, actually.
I know. Well, as someone who is an elder youth,
Hello,
it
I'm
hurt
joining you
me.
very soon.
It hurt me to put this question together. I'm not gonna lie to
Yeah.
you.
Sometimes I do feel like or at least in the context where I am living, I do feel like sometimes for older youth it becomes very hard because now they are treated more as, the ones with more experience, so their kind of opportunities they become less and less. So but I think, with age comes more creativity in one way or another because you're exposed to so many ideas and then you're like, okay, so maybe I can do some things very differently. So at least this is how I'm trying to convince myself.
Thank you for that. I think, as an older youth, it's always when I join groups, they're like, you're young, so you do the youth stuff. But that doesn't, there's so many, and as we see here, there's so many young youth here. So glad to see that. Thank you. It's always nice to know who we're engaging with.
Yeah. Okay, should we move maybe to the next question? And if anyone, by the way, is facing any problem with like engaging with the Mentimeter, please feel free to own the chat or maybe open the mic and tell us more. We are very happy to hear all about your stories. And what is one action you've taken that made a difference in someone's life? Which I'm at the beginning when I was like putting the question, I was like, what is one action that you've taken that you feel like it made a difference in the community level or like on your organization level or something like that? But then I realized maybe sometimes we can't, even if we're doing like some small actions or we're just, advocating in smaller groups or we just affected one person only, it's still valid and it still deserves recognition. Because, changing people's minds and convincing them to join our fight is actually very hard. Very nice. Community cleanups supported other young people as they testified at our state government for better wages. Oh, wow. Let me clap for that. Okay. What about you, Emily, Maths? Have you
I
thought about something?
actually, yeah, I love to see this. The testified for state for better wages. I belong to a union at my work. And our last contract negotiations, I did a lot of work negotiating the contract and informing my colleagues about what was in the negotiations, what was at stake. So. Yeah, I think that was probably the proudest I've been at work. Really organizing my community. So,
Hey, wait, I saw something that we need to actually read. I don't laugh at jokes about women, microfeminism. Yay! I created a safe space where someone could be heard, believed, and supported, and that helped them begin their healing journey. Kudos to you. Thank you so much for showing up for them. I volunteered as an English teacher, helping students, especially girls, build language skills and confidence. This support encouraged them to continue learning and believe in their future. This is very nice. Spoke up in class and held a seminar on importance of pronouns. Yay. Tut- tutor mentor students. Very nice. And worked on the CSW 70 adolescent and youth recommendations, supported participation of locally elected leaders in global events like CSW. This is very nice. Making space for others too is very important. I see that there's like one answer that looks like it's below, but I can't read it. Spreading
I'm
financial
not
literacy for
sure how to
women.
get down there. Is there, where's the scroll? Oh, there we go.
Okay, nice. Spreading
Oh,
financial.
I'm
Oh,
so sorry. I skipped the next question.
spreading financial literacy for women employees at the university who had no access to it otherwise. This is nice. I see a lot of big feminism happening here and small feminism, micro feminism, sorry. Micro and macro, they're both good. Okay, let's move to the next question, maybe. Although I wanted to read all the questions or all the other answers, but it's fine. We're,
Yeah,
we're
I
having
think
we're having some problems with
we
technology, I
can
think.
we can collate the answers afterwards and
Yeah,
share them with the group.
sure. And how strongly do these statements describe your activism? I use my voice to challenge inequality. I work with others to create change. I turn ideas into action. I feel confident sharing my story. I think for me, I would say I turn ideas into action. I'm so good at doing this.
You are.
Yeah, I feel like that I can confirm. Yes.
Well, thank you for testifying for me. But like when I started actually, I always thought that, the ideas that I have are like sometimes or crazy, or maybe people don't understand what I'm trying to communicate and stuff like that. But then, later on I started, learning how to communicate them in better ways, and just trying to actually, just dividing these big dreams into small tasks actually really works for, actually taking action. So this is very nice. Okay. We have 8.9 for I use my voice to challenge inequality. Yes, this is why you joined this space too. Okay, should we move to the next question? What helps activists create change? Community support, clear goals, practical skills, strong networks, and access to resources. I think we all want to say access to resources, but recently I've been feeling like having a network um, really actually is very helpful. It makes if you're trying to turn into like low cost or like zero cost kind of initiatives or kind of events, having a network, people who can provide you their spaces for free, um, is actually very nice. Okay, I see a lot of people are agreeing with me. Let's go. Okay, does anyone want to come and talk or tell us a little bit about what they're doing? Share why did they choose or why did they distribute the points in that way, or maybe write on the chat. Sometimes people don't like to talk, I know. Okay.
I think it makes sense that, practical skills isn't higher on the list. I think that so much of the work as advocates can be learned,
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing the work. But definitely strong networks. I think, when we talk about ideas and turning ideas into reality, you can't do that without a network of people to back you up and to support you. So,
Yep, yep. And sometimes your networks can open opportunities for you that you can't even imagine. So I would say investing and trying to show up everywhere and introduce
mhm.
yourself and tell people about your work, even if you feel like your work right now is not trendy or it's not in, or, gender equality is not all that right now, but it's still important and we still need to advocate and fight for it. And we still need to show up everywhere and fight our fight, I guess. Um, Sorry, maybe I have a lot of fighting language, but guys, this is how I actually feel. I feel like I am a fighter. These I forgot what who's the song would belong to, but I remember like the I'm a fighter kind of spirit. I like that more. Also, clear goals are very important, access to resources and strong networks. Very nice, very nice. Should we move to the next
Yeah,
question? I'm not sure. Do we have a
I
next
think
question too?
we had a few people raising their hands to
Oh,
answer.
okay. Sorry, because I'm on the camera, so I don't see. So, whoever
Oh,
raised your
that's
hand, open the mic.
yeah.
It's your space too. It's not just not just gonna be reading answers. I don't like to hear my voice that much.
Hello, hi everyone. Hi.
Hi.
Happy to see you guys. I was trying to turn my camera on and raise my hand, but so my name is Sayo, and I am wearing a maroon bonnet and a blue t-shirt. I am based in Nairobi, Kenya. Hi Asil, hi Emily.
Hi.
Um, nice to see you guys around. So I think for me, I'd say access to resources is something we don't, I mean, I think we talk a lot about it as young people, but dissecting the issue itself, because most of the times we have proximity to resources or even connections, but not really access. So I really think access is 90 out of 100 points for me. Yes, thank you.
Very valid. Yep.
Thank you. And along the lines of access to resources, a little sneak peek at our June monthly meeting topic. It will be on accessing resources and fundraising. So put that down in your calendar. We hope that you will join us then so that we can continue this conversation, which is so vital to all of our work. And we'll have more information about that towards the end of the meeting. But Asil, what do you think? Should we head to the next slide?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry,
And
was
we
there
have,
anyone else that was?
yeah, someone raised their hand, so please open the mic and tell us more.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Nade Gokati from Uganda. For me, what helps younger girls to, to create a change is to access for resources. Because if you can access resources everywhere, everything can be possible. And here, in our country, Uganda, most of the challenges that are affecting girls, it's lack of resources that helps younger girls to continue with their activities. But just because of for now, we are trying to access resources, and now we are doing good work in Uganda, and we are changing our communities positively, whereby on HR, some younger girls and mothers, they were they were they were having a negative attitude, like if you go for family planning, that means that is your end of getting the child, which is not true. But we are trying to teach them about HR and their uses. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I think that goes back to, community support as well, in changing those mindsets within your community. So it's all related, right? It's all connected. And
It
thank you for the
is.
work that you're doing.
I also see that there's in the chat from Regina, you need people and your community for the work to happen, thrive, and transcend. 100%. And for the next question, what is one bold idea you want to try next? More strategic partnerships with other NGOs and global policy matters. This is nice. Launching free community education opportunities. Play as means of education, build learning tools embedded in play, so snakes and ladder, but make it educational. I want to have fun and also create change. This is so aligned with what I want to do too. Passing a law that requires private insurance companies to cover pain management care for IUD insertions. Right, it's very nice. A lot of very big ideas, and to launch a digital platform that connects Afghan girls to free education and attending CSW. I hope that works for you, and we want to see you next year. For me, I think the next thing that I really want to try, I want to try. There's like this idea of an event that I really want to do. It's for mental health, where people, and I saw it like implemented in Egypt, where people come and then they write like about their daily concerns, because I advocate for mental health and for SRHR. And so people come into like this space, and there's like one person who sings and plays on the guitar, and then they sing actually what people write. So I want to try to do this in Jordan, maybe around the Youth Day. So it's a way for people to learn about mental health, and at the same time, we will create a very nice song, I guess. So pray for that to work. I'm looking for artists who are willing to volunteer in the community. But yeah, this is the next bold idea I want to try next, because I see I see some people clapping. Thank you so much. Okay, I think that was the last question, right?
I think so, yeah. Thank you for that
Thank you so
and
much.
presentation. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Asil, for facilitating our interactive portion of this. Amazing job. You're such a gracious host. So I hope that we'll get to see you again very soon, and let us know how your songwriting goes, for
I will record it for everyone.
please. Yes, yes. So looking forward to seeing it.
We'll make
Thank
sure to
you.
distribute it through the community hub too.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay. We are going to move into a different part of our program where we had asked our community members if they would like to speak and introduce themselves and what kind of advocacy work that they are in. So I have a list of a few individuals here. I'm going to try to find them on the participant list. And then let's see.
And if you weren't able to submit something, but you still want to share about yourself and the work that you're doing, feel free to raise your hand, put it in the chat. We want this space to be, interactive and to hear from everyone about the work that you're doing. Hear from you as a youth leader, right? So for myself, as I said before, I'm Emily Van Vleck. I am a recent EC member of NGO CSW. I just started last year, and a co-chair of the YLYP program with MADS. My journey through, being a youth leader, as I mentioned, I'm an elder youth, but um, for me, it's been one of just volunteerism, and I think that's, been my biggest struggle through this work of advocacy and activism is, it's it's a labor of love, and there's not always ways to get into paid work here, and I don't know if that's something that other people have experienced, but I got a piece of advice when I was younger that was, just keep doing the work that you are passionate about, even if you have to volunteer, it'll come one day. And that's, yeah, had been my journey. I started as an intern with my NGO, and um, I'm now the National Vice President of Advocacy for my organization, and through them, I sit on the board of NGO CSW. So it happens eventually, right? You just have to keep plugging into the networks that does the work and allows you a platform. So yeah, I don't. Mads, do we have the list ready? Who's up next?
Yeah, let's see here. I see that Christina is here, and Christina had messaged me. Christina, I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you here. If you want to go ahead and talk about your work and maybe any challenges that you have faced or anything that you would like to share, go ahead.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Christina. I'm currently finishing up my Master's of Public Affairs at Brown University, and most of my work deals at the intersection of policy and evidence-based research. In a world where data is driving our decisions, there's a lack of gender-based policy data. So, for example, for my capstone, I'm working with two of my classmates with an NGO called BALA, which is India-based, working on mental health and hygiene management. And one of the main issues is data collection is very difficult and not always standardized, which makes it more difficult to get research published in journals and get into high impact journals and really be able to elevate it beyond the local internal recommendations for BALA. So one of the things that we've been working on is developing recommendations for them to be able to design RCTs and quasi-experimental policy evaluations. And then my other work mainly deals with reproductive health and justice. So Brown is starting a new research lab on reproductive justice and reproductive health policy. And so I'm working on analyzing state policies related to contraceptive access so that we can publish a brief to make recommendations to states who are looking to protect contraceptive right now. in the current US climate. So those are the two main facets of my current work. I don't know exactly what we'll be doing after graduation. I hope it's something in gender-based advocacy and policy, but that's a really tough space to break into right now. But I'm hopeful with everything that I'll be able to continue to do this work and whatever I want to do next.
Thank you so much, Christina. That's really inspiring. I know, after I finished my undergrad, it was really hard to break into the space. But once I did, it was like, yes. Like almost a relief that I was able to do that. So it's really great to hear that you're doing such amazing work. And yeah, some challenges too.
And don't
Thank
forget,
you.
your friends at NGO CSW are always here to plug
Yes.
into as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Okay. I guess I will share a little bit as well, just so you all know a little bit about my background. I started as an intern with NGO CSW after my undergrad, and ended up staying with NGO CSW. Now I am the office manager here, as well as the YLYP co-chair. I have a strong passion for youth advocacy, and I work on creating free opportunities for the community to become educated on important topics in the US. I had to take a break from my community organization to pursue grad school, but hopefully, after my schooling is done, I will be able to, continue my work there. So yeah, there's different ways that you can get involved. It doesn't have to be in the UN. It can be in your community. It can be in government, There's so many different ways that you can put your brain into it. So yeah.
I think community is where you can make the most meaningful change a lot of times, right? We had a program several months ago, and one of our speakers was saying, you build your credibility in your community to be able to grow your work and level up. So yeah, start in your communities. I think that's brilliant. Who do we have next, Mads?
I see that Nindeko, I don't know if I pronounced that right, but has had their hand up for a while. If you want to unmute yourself and share, feel free.
Yeah, thank you for giving me another opportunity to, to share with you something. Yeah, for me, I personally, I'm trying to advocate for my country, and most especially in my district, in Kamuli district, because our district our district it has a big challenge of teenage pregnancy. So we are trying to change how best can we do to just in to reduce teenage pregnancy in our communities and most especially in our country. But we are trying to advocate for racial services for younger girls and boys, and the students are not giving the necessities. So most of girls and younger boys they are participating in cutting sugar cane, and for now we are advocating for scholarships for the school for the girls and younger women. Because and even the students were lacking information about their health, but we are trying to move school per school to give out those to teach them about their health issues. And as per now, we had a school called Neighbor Primary School. I had a girl who started menstruating at 13 years, and her father
forced her into marriage, and the girl came to me and shared with me her story, and I go to her father, and and I told he, and I told him that no, not, and the father had a negative attitude that if a girl start menstruating in his house, it is a sign of a mature, and that is a beginning of getting married. And the parent tried to force her girl into marriage. And I report that case to the sub-county, and I started to the local level, to the neighbor Shala. And now the girl is and the girl is still at school, but she was forced into marriage. But even her father now, she's our mentor in our group called God is Will. So this engagement is really helping us to advocate our issues concerning to our health. And next, I had the a woman and a man who always disturb their children because the children as HIV positive, and he really discriminating her as not a child of their children. But as per now, I talk to the parents and the children because the child is really her next program is to suicide her his self. But when I
Thank you, Nandango. I don't want to cut you off. If you had more to
yeah,
add.
the network is
I understand. Yeah, it's technology again. Thank you so much. I think, again, there's so much to be said about community support
yeah,
and awareness building. And that's, I think, the cornerstone of so much of our work.
yeah, my network is disturbing. Yeah, I was saying that I had a girl who HIV positive, but she was having a program of suicide herself just because of she's positive. But I tried to talk to her and her parents. Now she's a good mentor as for now, and we are working with her in our local communities to teaching about HIV, and we are lacking. But and my request is if there is an assistance, you can help us because if we go to our communities to create awareness about racial, about girls' education, they really expect from us. They really expect high expectation from us. Yet we don't have anything to give them, but only we are giving them knowledge. But you can't you can't create awareness for the big population. Yet you don't have something to give them. So we are really requesting for something so that we can give some villagers to to okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And that's the purpose of this convening today is to highlight young leaders and actions to talk about the work that we're doing, see where there's overlap, see where we could support one another. So thank you so much, and for calling out, for the support. I thank you for sharing. It sounds like you're doing amazing work. I see, is this Priya, Priya Diri? Please go ahead.
Hi everyone. My name is Diri Jepre. I work in Nigeria. I live and work in Nigeria. I identify as she, her. I am a filmmaker and I work in a local women's organization working with survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. So our work has four-pronged. We work with leaders of faith and culture and community members to work around prevention of sexual and gender-based violence and harmful normative practices in communities. And part of the work that we do is engaging them to see how they can use their offices, the palaces, the churches to create safe spaces for women and girls, and to see how they can sort of like work against sexual and gender violence in their community. So that's one work. We also work as a sexual assault referral center. So we have working cases of sexual and gender-based violence, women and girls working into report cases. We have a shelter here in Abuja, Nigeria. Our work also cuts across audiovisual work. So we do a lot of films and short campaigns, sort of like to spread the news about the laws that we have basically. So the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act and all the acts that we have in Nigeria against sexual and gender-based violence. But I'm not working at the organization, I'm a filmmaker. So I make films and I like to say that I'm a feminist filmmaker. I have a very gendered lens, which is why I don't laugh at men's joke about women. Like, what's funny? So I do a lot of storytelling to sort of like educate people on issues of sexual and gender-based violence. And I recently started a collective. It's called Femboard. It's a collective of feminist creatives. Part of what we're doing is we're using play to sort of like educate people. So we're going to schools and we have our first school outreach end of this month. I'm looking forward to it. We're using the snakes and ladder game to sort of like educate young people about consent, educate young boys about patriarchy, to talk to them about how patriarchy does not just harm women, but it also hurts men because it makes you feel like you have to be strong and all of the negative masculinity. So that is like a part of the work that I do in Nigeria, and I'm very much looking forward to keep engaging with this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Amazing.
sharing your work. It sounds fascinating, and I can't wait to hear more about it. And it sounds like you need to connect with a seal so that you guys can maybe we make a music video with the song.
Definitely. I have put in the chat a opportunity that was sent to me by Period, an organization that focuses on menstrual health in communities across the United States and over 20 other countries. I recommend checking it out. They have a ton of chapters that you can get involved with in your local community. I also am going to send out the community hub link to get involved. We plan on starting to send out opportunities, more information about how to speak and get involved. And we really want to grow our outreach here. So I'm going to go ahead and send this out. I think it's already in the chat, but I'll just send it out again. Oops, that was a long link. Sorry. But
That's all right. It's in the chat. So yeah, I know there's a couple questions. We do host these meetings monthly. They revolve around different topics, either related to the UN or to youth-specific topics and interests. We love hearing from you guys, and we love convening this space. So if there's, other things that you want to see and hear, please stick them in the chat, involve, or put them in the community hub page. We want to tailor content that is relevant to you and the work that you do, and to support the work that you do. So please, if there's anything, stick it in the chat. Is there anyone else that wants to share the work that they're doing? I'm gonna call someone out. I saw Stephanie is here, Sayo. And if you're able, I would love to hear about your work, Stephanie. I know we worked together a bit on the CSW, the UN Women Youth for it was the youth forum. There was so many events going on around CSW, but Stephanie really led the way for this. And I'm not gonna keep talking about you, but if you want to come on it and share about the work that you've been doing and how you ended up organizing this event with UN Women, I think it would be very inspiring to hear.
Thanks, Emily, for putting me on the spot. But I was also just embracing everything that I've had from the team and super inspiring work that everyone is doing. And I think we downplay how important it is when we are directly rooted in grassroots movements and community outreach that is direct. And I think UN spaces and UN language sound so pompous and glamorous, but it's really the work on the ground that matters at the end of the day. So for me, I'd say I started off with Model UN when I was in campus. I was doing my law degree, my undergraduate law degree. So it took me like around 4 years to just understand UN spaces, but not necessarily tied to having a UN job afterwards, but it was more tied to just activism because that was the community activism that I knew. We were a society engulfed in the Model UN space, and given that Nairobi is a hub here in Kenya and I guess Africa and globally, so the United Nations offices in Nairobi was our primary partner, and we used to work primarily on climate justice issues and SDGs as young people. So that really catapulted me into understanding, youth movements and youth activism. And after that, after graduating and becoming a lawyer, I joined Women Deliver as part of their Emerging Leaders program, which was their first regional young leadership program based in East Africa. So that really helped getting to now actually win spaces because through that opportunity, we were given the chance to have access to global spaces that we wouldn't otherwise have. And I think for me, I've had such an intersectional way of looking at activism and feminism in the way that I come from the queer community. I've also done work in law and policy. But aside from that, just being a young woman and understanding the ways that we are excluded, especially for adolescent girls and young women. And that really helped in shaping up the type of activism and co-creation that I wanted, especially ageist, you know, aspects of feminism and feminist advocacy that we see where we are excluded as young people always, unless it's a youth topic, unless it's something, and they'd even do, intergenerational dialogues and all that just to say, okay, we have to, bring a tokenistic representation of this and that. I mean, that's a controversial opinion, but it's how I see it, I think. But after attending CSW 69, that was my first one through Women Deliver, that's when I got in touch with UN Women and found out that they have this young feminist or young activist channel where we are directly working with them to collect recommendations, do consultations, and also hold our own events at CSW and also in the lead up to CSW. So that's how I just got thrown into the whole the sea of all these different things. And I love that I got to meet a lot of global activists from all over the world. And we were able to gather, I think, around 23,000 plus interactions from young people and come up with now the adolescent and youth recommendations. And since they were tied to access to justice specifically because of the CSW 70 theme, it also helped just having to learn how exclusion, especially systemic exclusion and access to justice, is failing for young people. And having those as the primary focus, there wasn't any, okay, we want youth voices because we've already collected recommendations from older folks. No, this was just for young people and adolescents. And it really helped to gauge how some of the issues that we talk about right now that are really rampant, like sexual and gender-based violence, was really high in some of the recommendations that came out globally. And I'd also note that the Global South had the most recommendations, with around 70+% of the recommendations coming from the Global South. So looking at some of those barriers and seeing, okay, somebody from Morocco, I'm in Africa, but I'm not in North Africa. And sometimes North Africa is also tied to the Arab states. So looking at how maybe someone would be facing sexual and gender-based violence in the same way that, anyone in my country or in any other country, and relate to it and understand that this is a barrier issue, a structural issue, a systemic issue. So I really feel that as young people, we do have so much. We know the problem, we know the solution, we have ideas, but we lack a lot of resources and ways that we can try and tap into creating real change. So being part of that co-creating team was really wonderful. And Emily, you came in along the way, and it was really nice because we even talked about now CSW engagements physically as well, aside from the virtual stuff that we've done. So it was really nice to have that and get to also understand through this and through you, I was able to learn about this program as well, young leaders and young professionals. So that's why I'm here. So one connection after another after another. So that's in a nutshell my life story, I guess. But super inspired by everyone and really hoping to keep interacting and learning more. And from the recommendations we collected, right now I'm really focused on now turning it into really action items that are implementable. So whether it's starting an initiative or finding ways that it can stream directly into policy, whether at the national level or globally. Yes, that's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And again, we are back to community, right? To building community and networking. So delighted to see you here. Thank you for joining. And the youth recommendations that Stephanie referenced, we did have a member from that recommendations kind of building team present in February, if I'm not mistaken. So the recording from that session is on our YouTube channel. The recording from all of our sessions end up there. So please take a look. You can see all of the previous programs that we've hosted and check out those youth recommendations there, learn more about them. And I'll pass
And
it over to Mads to wrap it up
great.
today. Yeah, thank you
Thank you
so
so
much for
much.
being here.
Yeah, so last thing before we head out, again, we are trying to grow our community and get more young people involved with some of our programming and information sharing. So I'm just going to launch a quick poll. Would you join a WhatsApp group for the YLYPs? It doesn't have to be WhatsApp, but some sort of community group where people can openly share information and more information on maybe potential opportunities or news that might not be mainstream. I think it would be a good opportunity for us. It looks like everyone who voted said yes. So we will go ahead and work on that. But I think that is our whole program today. Oh, we should do a signal for safeguarding. That is a good point. We will figure it out. Another platform. Great. We love to see recommendations coming through. We are new at the YLYPs just as you are. The revamp has been happening slowly, but it is happening. So we're excited for the future of this program and what we get to offer you all. So with that, we will go ahead and close today's session out. Thank you all so much for being here. Emily, do you have any last words?
Our next meeting.
Oh, yes, our next meeting. That's
Don't
right.
forget the next meeting, Mads.
Yes, I will be sending it out, of course, in the community hub and in our MailChimp. But our next meeting, let me just make sure that I have the correct date. Or no, we haven't decided on a date yet.
I think it was June 12th.
June 12th at 11 a.m. That's right. June 12th, 11 a.m. We will send out a registration link in the next few weeks. So keep a lookout. We will also share it on our Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of the social media platforms, so you can follow us there. And yeah, I think that is all from me. Have a great rest of your day, evening, night, wherever you are. And I hope to see you all soon. Thank you for a wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.